Chapter 38. Black Chess Points to Wake Up. In the heavenly remnant realm, there was a magnificent hall called the Chess Viewing Hall. It was extremely dark in the Hall of Chess Observation, and 18 people could be seen sitting cross-legged in it, but their faces could not be seen. In the north of the hall, a coffin was placed vaguely, and the only source of light in the hall was a chessboard in the sky above the coffin. The chessboard was not infinitely expandable, but rather 19 golden thin lines, each vertical and horizontal, outlined an ordinary chessboard. However, on top of this chessboard, it was filled with chess pieces, 361 positions, all filled with chess pieces. Of the 361 chess pieces, there were 200 white pieces, while there were 161 black pieces, which slowly floated in the air, emitting a faint ghostly light. 18 people sat quietly in the middle of the great hall, not uttering a single word. Buzz. Steeply, one of the black seeds emitted a faint halo, and all of them stared at this black seed in death. The halo lasted for a while, and then the black disc in the halo actually slowly changed color, slowly turning into a white disc. 201 white discs now. One of them said with a hint of excitement in his voice. Yes, Grand Elder. There are still 160 black discs left. When all the black discs turn white, another person said with excitement. Be careful with your words. The Great Elder's voice sounded again. Yes, I slipped up. That person respectfully said. The heavenly remnant realm is once again open. Outsiders entering will produce many variables. This place is the Pavilion Master's casket. There is no room for error. From today onwards, 18 of us will take turns stationing here, with a permanent presence of 9 people here in case of any disturbances, the Grand Elder said in a deep voice. Yes, the others responded. Has Little 9 been warned over there? The Great Elder asked indifferently. Great Elder, perhaps we don't need to warn, but Little 9 has suffered a great loss this time. A person laughed bitterly. Oh, Xiaoju moved the cloud beast, but unfortunately, he encountered the Mercy Life Bodhisattva, and Xiaoju could only retreat. Mercy Life Bodhisattva, he came, the Grand Elder said gruffly. I seem to have heard that the Bodhisattva of Merciful Life is coming to the Great Elder to get back what the Pavilion Master promised him. Great Elder, what did the Pavilion Master promise him? The Grand Elder was silent for a while and said, he has come after all, the Bodhisattva of Merciful Life. Back then, he had played a game against the Pavilion Master, and the Pavilion Master was touched by his great compassion and promised to help him out. Compassion. The master of the pavilion from that game of chess, Mercy Life, compassion for all living beings. This person's bosom, even the master of the pavilion also praised, if you meet again, shall not be difficult, directly brought to see me. Xiaoju was also wise to retreat. He was no match for the Bodhisattva of Compassionate Life. Someone who can play against the Pavilion Master. It shouldn't be difficult to break open the Heavenly Blade Life and Death game, the Grand Elder solemnly said. The one who broke the Heavenly Saber Life and Death game is not the Bodhisattva of Merciful Life, but someone else. Oh, a person called Guhai. I heard that he is a helmsman of the One Piece Hall. One Piece Hall? Guhai. The Grand Elder was slightly puzzled. I heard that he entered this realm just to look for the unborn. Looking for the unborn. Do you know what it is? The Grand Elder said, with a hint of worry in his tone. It says that the first grade Hallmaster is looking for him. Grand Elder, should we notify the unborn? The Grand Elder was silent for a while and shook his head. No matter what, the Unshengren should not be alarmed. He has his mission. Yes, the crowd responded. Grand Elder, Xiaoju mobilized the cloud beasts this time, but it might speed up the appearance of the 4 directions golden chess pieces. This group of outsiders, they're going to start competing for my Yichun Pavilion's treasures again. Every time, we don't stop them and allow them to plunder. Why? We don't need to pay that much. This is the Pavilion Master's order. Just obey it. As long as the 100 longevity peach tree is still there, Let them seize the other treasures. But the man said unwillingly, "All right, this is an order," the Grand Elder said in a cold voice. "Yes, Carefree Valley. Gu Hai, Gao Xianzi, Chen Tronchen, Xiao Ru and Rensheng Bodhisattva once again returned to the previous cave. The previous violent tremor had not collapsed this mountain peak, and the cave remained the same, illuminated by the night pearl. Only at this moment, the spring water disappeared, revealing 3 huge pits, revealing a round jade disc floating at the bottom of the cave. Gao Xianzi sat beside the circular jade disc and pressed his probing hand on top of it, as if a long time had passed. Buzz! The jade disc trembled, and a golden light spread out from Gao Xianzi's palm. Gao Xianzi's eyes opened, and a wave of surprise flashed through his eyes as he looked at his palm. Within his palm, an additional golden chess piece appeared. This is the golden chess piece that the 9th Prince summoned the Cloud Beast a few days ago. How did it get into my hands? Gao Xianzi was surprised. Gao Xianzi, you've been sitting here for 3 days without moving. What happened? Gu Hai was puzzled. Gao Xianzi looked at the golden chess piece in her hand, recalled for a while, and shook her head. I don't know. In a blur. It seems like there was a person who taught me how to play chess. And I kept playing and playing until I got the person's acknowledgement a while ago, and he ended up gifting me with a golden chess piece. But that was in a dream. How did this golden chess piece appear in my hand? Gao Xianzi was in a daze. Gu Hai and his party, however, looked towards Mercy Life Bodhisattva. Mercy Life Bodhisattva smiled faintly and said, "No need to look at me. I don't know. This golden chess piece is hidden inside this formation diagram, right? Formation diagram. It's this circular jade disc. It's a magic treasure of the game Heaven Pavilion. It was sacrificed by the old man of chess watching in the past, right? To induce this place to produce a spiritual spring. It's also this circular jade disc, which had been hidden in the ground before, and was found up by me." Mercy Life Bodhisattva laughed. "Spirit spring, a natural formation. No, this formation that creates the spirit springs is actually this magic treasure refined by old man, Guanji." Chen Chanchen's eyes reddened slightly. Such a magic treasure was actually capable of creating a spirit spring. How could Chen Chanchen not be moved? Mercy Life Bodhisattva smiled slightly and said, "There are at least 3 golden chess pieces hidden in this formation diagram. According to that method of Gao Xianzi, you guys slowly take it out. After you take it out, this formation diagram, also put it away nicely. Don't be found by other people. Once you find it, it will lead to countless chases. Bodhisattva Mercy Life, you don't want it." Gu Hai looked at Mercy Life Bodhisattva in surprise. This was to give the 3 golden pieces along with this formation diagram to his own line. Mercy Life Bodhisattva smiled faintly and said, "No need. This item is useless to me. I'll be leaving later as well. Going to look for the Great Elder of the Game Heaven Pavilion. Here, you guys be careful." "Many thanks, Mercy Life Bodhisattva," Chen Chanchen immediately said excitedly. Gu Hai, however, frowned as he looked towards Mercy Life Bodhisattva. "Mercy Life Bodhisattva, my line of work and the Bodhisattva had no friendship in the past. Why has the Bodhisattva been helping us? Giving away such a heavy treasure as well?" The crowd looked towards Mercy Life Bodhisattva. Mercy Life Bodhisattva looked at Xiaoru and said, "Ancient Helmsman, what you've done touches me. Perhaps we're in the same path. I don't have many people in the same path. It's fate to have one." Gu Hai looked at Mercy Life Bodhisattva. There was a hint of doubt in his eyes, but he could only nod. Mercy Life Bodhisattva looked at Gu Hai, and after a moment of silence, he said, "However, speaking of which, I feel a familiar aura from Servant Master Gu." "Oh," Gu Hai revealed a hint of doubt. "It's not you. It should be whoever you've come into contact with before, leaving behind a trace of his aura. It's very mysterious." Mercy Life Bodhisattva thought for a moment and said, "Someone I've come into contact with, Gu Hai looked at Mercy Life Bodhisattva in surprise. This is my unique aptitude. It shouldn't be wrong. There's no time to explore more this time. There might be a handover soon. At that time, if there's something that troubles the ancient Helm Master, please ask the ancient Helm Master to make it convenient. Mercy Life Bodhisattva laughed. The Bodhisattva is polite. As long as I, Gu Hai, can do it, I will definitely do my best, Gu Hai solemnly said. The Bodhisattva of Merciful Life nodded, folded his hands and said, "Since that's the case, then let's meet again sometime. Send Merciful Life Bodhisattva." The crowd immediately returned the salute. Slowly, they sent Mercy Life Bodhisattva out of the cave. Mercy Life Bodhisattva was also eager to leave, and soon disappeared from the eyes of the crowd. As Mercy Life Bodhisattva left, the crowd once again returned to the cave. Gao Xianzi padded back and carefully buried the cave to prevent it from being discovered by others. Gao Xianzi, you have obtained a golden chess piece. Try and see if you can also mobilize the power of the heavens and earth to condense the cloud beast. Chen Chonchen immediately said eagerly. Gao Xianzi shook her head and looked at Gu Hai. Chen Chonchen was slightly bewildered. The golden chess pieces coagulating the cloud beasts will move too much. Let's wait until we all fetch the pieces before we test it. Gu Hai shook his head and said, "Oh yes." Chen Chonchen nodded and immediately responded. "Chen Chonchen, you try. Take the second golden chess piece," Gu Hai solemnly said. Yes, Chen Chonchen was instantly excited. Sitting down on his knees, he probed his hand and printed on top of the circular jade disc. Buzz! The circular jade disc steeply emitted a trace of white light, and Chen Chonchen was suddenly in a trance, as if he was in meditation. "Helmsman, was it the same from my subordinate just now?" Gao Xianzi said with a slightly sunken face. Gu Hai nodded and said, "Not bad. The mind should have been pulled by this formation diagram." Gao Xianzi, are you in any discomfort? Gao Xianzi closed his eyes and felt for a while and shook his head. No discomfort. In the dream world, it was as if I was being taught the art of chess, my chess intent. It was as if it was completely controlled by the old man in the dream. My subordinate doesn't like that kind of feeling. It's a feeling that's not by myself. 3 days later, Buzz! Chen Chonchen was jolted and suddenly came to his senses. "Ha! I also obtained a golden chess piece," Chen Chonchen said excitedly. "Same as Gao Xianzi's dream," Gu Hai said doubtfully. Not bad, hazy. Don't remember it too well. It seems like an old man taught me how to play chess in the dream." Chen Chonchen frowned. Gu Hai looked at the circular jade disc, and after a moment of silence, he took a deep breath and slowly sat down. Probing his hand, he pressed it on top of the circular disc. Buzz! Once again a white light emerged, and Gu Hai was in a trance, as if he was in a trance. Whew! Gu Hai felt a sudden blurring of the spirit. The mind didn't know what dream world it had entered in general, and for a moment, it was as if Gu Hai had lost himself. And right at this moment, in the space between Gu Hai's eyebrows, the black chess piece violently trembled. Boom! As if there was a loud bang, Gu Hai's mind jolted and came to his senses. The moment he came to his senses, Gu Hai realized that in his brow space, his own mind god had condensed a phantom body that stood in the brow space. Beside the mind illusion was the black chess piece that brought him from Earth to this world. Just now, it was the black chess piece that trembled and woke him up. Otherwise, he was still immersed in a state of disorientation. Gu Hai was horrified. In the space between his eyebrows, the black chess piece reigned supreme, and below it were 100,000 chessboards with 100,000 handicap games. Originally, everything was the same as before, but now, in this brow space, it was surrounded by white mist, as if a rolling sea of clouds had invaded Gu Hai's brow. In the middle of the sea of clouds, there was a white-haired old man sitting vaguely. Gu Hai couldn't see the white-haired old man's appearance, although it was close by. but it was extremely vague. There was a chessboard in front of the white-haired old man, but this chessboard was extremely strange. But it had 28 lines each vertically and horizontally. "Sit down. Let me see your chess power," the white-haired old man slowly said. "I am Gu Hai. I wonder who your honor is," Gu Hai said solemnly. "Sit down. Let me see your chess power. Sit down. Let me see your chess power. Sit down. Let me see your chess power," the white-haired old man repeated, as if he hadn't heard Gu Hai's words. Gu Hai's eyes narrowed. This old man was not a spirit body, just something like a puppet that had been programmed long ago. If he wasn't already awake, he would only play chess with him as if he was hypnotized. Gu Hai did not resist, but slowly sat down. Instantly, the two of them sat face to face on a chessboard. "Accompany me in a game of chess, and this golden piece will be yours." The old man's voice was emotionless,